Hey y'all, this is Amanda. This is my second video to make. Tomorrow makes my 2-week anniversary since my gastric sleeve surgery. For those of you who did not see my first video, I'm 28 years old. I'm 5'3" I started out at, on the Sunday that I started my pre-op liquid diet, I was 205. I'm now 183, so I lost 22 pounds. 4 of that was my pre-op liquid diet. Day of surgery, I was 201. So I lost 18 pounds. Tomorrow will be 2 weeks. So pretty excited about that. I want to give a quick rundown of my surgery and the recovery. I'll try to make it as fast as possible. Wednesday morning went in for surgery. I was the first one they did, so didn't have to wait too long. The surgery itself should last about 45 minutes. Mine actually lasted about an hour and a half. I don't know why. They didn't say there was any complications or anything, but mine lasted a little bit longer. You get out of surgery. Of course, they wake you up, and first thing they do is literally pull you out of bed and make you walk in place and walk sideways and all this crazy stuff, and you're really still out of it. I was falling asleep standing up, and the nurses were yelling at me because I guess I was just going to fall right over. So that happens. You go to your room. I was moving around really quickly. It was only, I can't remember if it was right when they got me to my room or might have been just a few hours after I needed to go to the restroom, and they asked me, do you want to get up or do you want a bedpan? And I've never used a bedpan before, and I was not in that much pain I could get up to go to the bathroom. So I said, no, I'm going to get up. So I was up and walking around within a few hours. In the hospital, my only complication was I'm allergic to Lortab, so I couldn't have the liquid Lortab, which is pretty much, they say, what all the doctors use right after this surgery. That's what they like to use. So I couldn't have that. So I was getting... through my IV, I was getting a shot of Phenergan and a shot of morphine at the same time, which if you've ever had those put into your IV, I was literally screaming in pain because it is the worst burn I have ever felt in my life. Felt like, I can't even describe it, just poison going into your body, and it was awful. And then as soon as it would, I guess, make its way to, not my literal stomach, but to my belly area and hit there. I never actually threw up, but I would be dry heaving and crying. It was awful. Come to find out the next day, that's what was making me sick. I'm intolerant or possibly just allergic to that. So as soon as they took me off the morphine and the Phenergan, I was fine. They just put one of those little patches behind my ear for the nausea. And then they were giving me, I can't remember. I know I'm taking tramadol now. I think they might have been giving me shots of that. But so that's an experience that most likely no one else will have. It was just because I was intolerant to the medicine. The only other bad thing about the surgery is you're extremely thirsty when you first come out because you can't drink after midnight the night before. You have your surgery, and then they don't let you have not even an ice chip that entire day. And then you have to wait until the next day until your doctor finally makes his way to you. And then they'll send you to do, I think it's a barium test, similar to an upper GI, I guess. That's the first thing you get to drink is that disgusting fluid that they make you. They give it to you, and it's with a straw, which you're not supposed to drink through a straw after you've had this surgery because of the air. And they want you to drink fast, which your body doesn't even want you to swallow anything. It's like it knows something's going on, and so that was difficult, but it only lasts a minute or two, and you make it through it. After that test, and you go back to your room and they review the test and everything, make sure you have no leak, then you can start drinking. So I was very thirsty Wednesday evening and until about 3 o'clock Thursday afternoon. Yes, that's right. Just very thirsty, very dry mouth, but I was on morphine, so there's not too much you can't conquer when you're that doped up. I was okay. But you are thirsty, and then they bring you tiny little glasses that hold an ounce of water at a time, and they tell you to sip on that ounce for 15 minutes. 15 minutes, you should be able to get that part down. And they want you to drink 4 of those an hour. So you're 4 ounces an hour, and if you're up long enough, then you should be able to complete 64 ounces in a day. I came nowhere close to that. It is very difficult. Like I said, it's like your body just doesn't want for you to put anything into your system. I found it difficult to take. I'm talking about a sip that barely even got anything in your mouth. I might have drank 16 to 20 ounces while I was there. It was very difficult. But anyway, so I got to go home Friday afternoon. Of course, when you start drinking, they let you start having popsicles and Jell-O. They brought me hot tea one day, which I think I only had, like 1 sip of. Friday evening, I had my first bit of real food. The thing is, you're not ever really hungry. Even still, I don't ever think I'm hungry, I want to eat. I have been on my couch doing nothing, and pretty much all I've watched is Food Channel because I'm a foodie, bake, I love to cook. So I keep that on almost all the time, and used to, just watching it, I would be salivating, wanting to cook, wanting to eat, and it doesn't even faze me anymore. There's not very many things I see that they're cooking and I'm like, I would like to eat that. The few things that I have thought, oh, I would like to make that one day, have been oddly things like I normally wouldn't have wanted. I've even had to change the channel a few times just because like they were making like chili burgers or something, and even just hearing them describe it, even if I wasn't watching, if I had my eyes closed, hearing them describe it made me feel disgusting. So I never really want food. I have to tell myself, okay, it's time for you to eat something. You've got to eat something. So that's nice. I've lived for so long really controlled by food. I wake up and I think, what am I going to have for breakfast? And then as soon as you eat that, you're like, well, what am I going to have for lunch? And what am I going to have for dinner? And sometimes you even, or at least I did, I planned where I was going and what I was doing. Okay, well, if I want to go to the mall, I'm going to wait to go at this time because I'll be by this restaurant and I can get that horrible thing for me. So it is nice to not be driven by that at all. It just really doesn't even fill my mind at all. So things I've been eating since then, I don't eat very much, unfortunately. It's something I need to do better at. I just don't want it. I'm tired of popsicles. I don't like Jell-O. I drink my water. If my mom is around and she's a big coffee drinker, if she fixes coffee, she'll literally pour me maybe an ounce just to have something warm. It feels nice. She made me some very, very thin potato soup, which I ate, like 2 ounces of at a time, 2 or 3 days in a row. I think that was a little bit too rich for my stomach, so I stopped eating that. Last night, for the first time ever, I had cream of wheat, and I took a bite, and I felt like I was eating a gourmet meal. It was delicious. It was so good. So it's a very filling thing. It's very good for you, though. I can have 4 ounces of food at a time, but I don't ever push myself quite that far. I might have 2 or 3 ounces at the most, just because I'm afraid. It's like if I'm not ever hungry, I also don't really experience full, if that makes sense. So I don't want to go too far and then make myself sick, so I just stopped shy of that. So I had, because that's so filling, I only had about maybe 2 tablespoons, so it's about not even that much, probably 1.5 ounces of food. But because it's sweet, it expands, and I just felt pretty full. So let's see, what else can I talk about real quick? Other things that I've noticed, which is just great. My skin, which I know you guys can't tell, my last video, A, was pretty dark. I'm sorry about that. But B, because I had on a lot more makeup. I felt like I had to cake stuff on my face. I wore a concealer actually as my foundation and blush, and then powder, and then a lot of bronzer. And then my face just felt like disgusting because I had all this stuff on it. And because I've been drinking water and cut out the processed nasty food, my pores have shrunk a lot. My skin, even without makeup, is like clear. Right now I do have on my eye makeup and my lipstick, but my face is, there's not much on it. I use like almost like a tinted moisturizer and a tiny bit of blush, and then just a very light, basically no color to it, finishing powder. And you know, it just feels so much better. So that's something I've really noticed. Also, I think it's because of the biotin I've been taking every day. It's probably one reason why my skin's better, but also I'm still really white. I have fair skin, but I think it's added a little bit of color to my skin too. They say that biotin will kind of give you almost like a faux tan, which I don't look tan by any means, but it's added some color. My eyes are whiter. It's weird. So that's good. My hair feels a little bit healthier, although every time a strand falls out, I just freak out a little bit. I know that it's not time for me to start losing my hair yet. I know that's a little ways away. But I'm just terrified of it because hair is a big deal to me. So I'll probably be getting extensions when that happens. My mom lost a good bit of hair. Her hair is thin now, but that's something that comes along with having bypass because of the malabsorption that creates. Gastric sleeve does not have malabsorption. You lose hair when anytime you're put under for anesthesia, just because it stops the follicle, the process. I read this whole scientific thing about it. So it messes up the process, so you naturally lose hair for any kind of surgery after anesthesia. But with weight loss, drastic weight loss, you lose hair mainly because of lack of protein, which I'm not really getting much of at all right now. You know, once they put me on pureed foods, I'll try to eat a lot of you know, good beans and stuff like that. They'll have protein in them. So hopefully, but it's also a genetic thing. That's what they told me. Some people lose more than others. Since my mom lost a lot, I'm expecting to lose a lot. So I am paranoid about that. Maybe the biotin will help. I don't know. Clothes. I don't think I've quite dropped a full size yet, even with 22 pounds. Things I've noticed. I would never ever wear my hair up before except to go to work, and even then I just felt so disgusting because my whole face was exposed. I've definitely would always wear my hair straight and tease it big and keep it around the face to try to cover up some of this I've had. I've been wearing my hair back a lot lately, even the few times I've been out in public. You probably can't tell as much because you don't see me every day. My face is a little bit more slender here. I actually have a jawline. I don't have as much of this. Just, you know, my neck and right in here is just a little bit more slender. My stomach has drastically shrunk. My tummy, stomach too, I guess. My tummy has shrunk a lot. I always had like pregnant belly. That's where I was big all over, and I used to always have a really small stomach and, you know, bigger thighs and butt in a good way, I guess, until I gained all the weight, and then it was like I had everything, including the pregnant belly. My pregnant belly is gone, though. It's relatively flat, considering how big I am still. So I haven't really gone down a full size. I'm just wearing a lot of stuff in my closet that, yeah, when I would put it on, it would physically fit, but it would be snug, or it might hug a little too tightly there. And I've always been so particular about what I wear. I don't want to reveal any of my fat rules, which is one reason, I guess, why people don't realize just how big I was. I don't think they realized I weighed, 205 pounds, because I was so careful about how I dressed myself. But I'm actually wearing like a fitted shirt. I would never before, hardly ever would just wear a shirt. I would always have on like a loose tank top of some sort, or like strapless blouse, and then a very loose cardigan over it. But I actually have on kind of a fitted shirt today, pulling out a lot of things that I would have never worn. A few t-shirts that, things I bought, and it'd be tight in the dressing room, and I would think, well, if I lose 10 pounds, it'll look good, and I would go ahead and buy it, and I've never worn it. I've taken tags off of like 4 tops in the past week that I've never worn, and they're actually loose now. I put on a pair of jeans yesterday that I have not worn in well over a year when I was on one of my diet kicks and was weighing less. I put them on and they fit. The jeans that I normally wear all the time are skinny jeans that have a lot of stretch to them. They still fit. I just don't have to like do the jumping dance when I put them on. So people are starting to notice. I haven't seen a ton of people because I just haven't been going out. I don't think I'm brave enough yet to go out with friends, out to a bar or to a restaurant or anything. I just don't want to put myself in that situation quite yet. Plus, it's kind of stupid. I also just want to lose more weight before I see some of those people again. So it's, a very drastic change when they see me. Just, I think everybody wants to feel that. But the people I have seen, at the shop, that work at the shop, notice. So that feels very good. I think now that I'm at 183, that literally like every 10 pounds, or 5 pounds even, is going to make a more drastic difference the smaller I get. So I think from here on out, it's going to be more drastic. So I'm very excited. I'm trying to make sure I just haven't missed anything important for those of you who are interested in this. I did skip something big. Water. I was feeling fine until about last Tuesday or Wednesday. Tuesday, I think I started feeling kind of bad. Wednesday, feeling worse. And by Thursday, I went into my shop thinking, okay, I need to go help out just a little bit, trying to ease back into work. And literally, as soon as I got there, I walked around the shop a time or two, frosted like 10 cupcakes, and I had to sit down. I was having horrible dizzy spells, seeing spots. I was very jittery and everything. Anyway, I was supposed to have an appointment the next day. Oh, I also had a rash on my stomach. So my mom said, you need to call the doctor today. Don't wait until your appointment tomorrow. So I called them, and they told me to come in immediately. The rash was from the blood thinner heparin shots that they were giving me. So they told me to take Benadryl for that, no biggie. It's gone now for the most part. But I was severely dehydrated. They did a blood test and said, normally if someone's dehydrated, they'll show the symptoms of it, but sometimes it hasn't affected their actual blood work yet. But my blood work was just crazy. So they sent me to get liquid immediately. I got 2 big bags of IV fluid. I think at that point on Thursday, I had actually hit 17 pounds weight loss total. And when I got home, of course, I had gained 4 pounds from the fluid. So I was a little bit bummed, but I felt so much better. I just wasn't drinking enough, and even still, I've been much more conscious about it. I keep something with me 24/7. I sip until I feel like I've met all that my body can handle for that time. I'm still not getting in 64 ounces a day. Probably getting in about 40, maybe 50. And my dizzy spells started again yesterday. So I have an appointment in a few minutes. Hopefully they won't make me go get more IV, because I just don't feel like going and sitting and doing all of that. So we'll see. So if you're getting this done, just be prepared to drink until you feel like you're swimming. But other than that, if you're thinking about getting it done, I definitely, I think it's great. I've had a few minor complications, but overall it's been easy. And you wake up every morning and you get on the scale. You don't dread getting on the scale. You kind of look forward to it. As soon as I open my eyes, I'm like, okay, I need to get up and get on the scale. And pretty much every day it goes down, at least, half of a pound, but most of the time it's going down a pound or 2 pounds sometimes, and it's exciting. And putting on clothes that aren't as tight anymore is exciting. So it definitely makes the small inconveniences worth it. So if you're looking into it and you meet the requirements, of course I was on the borderline of being accepted for it. And, a lot of the nurses said, I don't understand why you did this, you're so small, but, it's not their life. They don't know what I've struggled with. I was up at one point when I was living in Nashville, I was up to about 225, 230 pounds. And I never ever want to be like that again. I don't ever want to be at this point again. So, and then struggling with fibromyalgia and PCOS, already I can tell a difference in my pain now. It might be because I'm on painkillers, but I'm not hurting, I'm not stiff like I was. I haven't had the lower abdominal pain from the cyst, from the PCOS, so I'm hoping that it's actually starting to make those changes in my body. If it hasn't yet, then it will. So if you're thinking about it, don't listen to what other people say. It's up to you. You know your body, you know yourself. I think it's a great thing. So I will probably make another video in about 2 weeks. So I will see you guys then. Have a good day.